So, Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass has been out for a little while now, and I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews of it online. So I figured, hey, why not make my own review, because I have a good amount of things to say about this wave as well. Before we start talking about all the courses though, I just want to mention that this is my first time doing any sort of review like this, so if you guys like it and you want to see more, like for example if I were to review the other waves of the Booster Course Pass, let me know down below by subscribing, and with all that said, let's jump into Wave 5. The opening course of the wave, as usual, is a tour city trek, in this case being Athens Dash. Now, if I'm being honest, I think Athens Dash is the city course that I was looking forward to the most in 8 Deluxe, besides maybe Singapore Speedway. I already knew this course was going to be good before I even played it, and after playing it, I can say that this is probably the second best city course in the entire game. One of the reasons for that is that Athens Dash actually uses a combination of both laps and sections in its layout. Where most of the city courses just have the same starting line for every lap and you just take a slightly different route each time, Athens has a completely unique starting line for the second lap, or second section really, which that entire section is based on Athens Dash 3, a variant of the course that doesn't exist in Tour yet. And do I even need to talk about how great the song for this course is? The original version of the song in Tour was already great, and 8 Deluxe, if I'm being honest, I can barely even tell the difference, but that just goes to show you how good the original was, and that this course, no matter what, was pretty much always going to be good. Ultimately, Athens Dash exceeded the already high expectations I had for it, and I think it was a great start to not only the Feather Cup, but Wave 5 as a whole. Up next, we have the fan favorite, Daisy Cruiser. If I'm being honest, I don't have a lot to say about this course. It's perfectly alright, I just don't care too much about it. That's not to say I don't like it, I do, I just don't have that much to say. It's a perfectly fine course. The few comments I do have about it though are that A, I loved the new version of the music that it got, and B, I'm happy that it got to keep its moving tables, unlike another course that we'll get to later that lost its gimmick. And finally, when it comes to the split path at the end of the course, are there actually people who take the top path? Because the bottom path is faster and it rewards you with double item box, so I don't really ever see a reason to take the top. Overall, I think Daisy Cruiser was a perfectly fine addition to Wave 5. It's not a course that I'm ever going to be complaining to play on, but at the same time, I don't think it's one that I'm ever going to be intentionally picking. Now, as a contrast to our previous course, I have a lot to say about Moonview Highway. Firstly, anyone who knows me knows that, in my opinion, Moonview Highway was the absolute worst course in Mario Kart Wii, so you can imagine I wasn't too thrilled seeing it be added to the DLC. Especially considering that the second worst course from Mario Kart Wii, Grumble Volcano, didn't get anything in Mario Kart 8 besides a, admittedly very nice graphical upgrade. After playing it though, I've gotta say, Nintendo, you've done it again. You've taken an absolutely garbage course and turned it into something amazing. I would like to officially welcome Moonview Highway to the Awful Courses Redeemed by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Club. The one compliment that I will give the Wii version of this track is that the music was amazing. But now here in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's perfect. I would even say that the city version of this course's theme is tied for my favorite piece of music in the entire wave. Probably the coolest change that this course got, though, is that now, every time you play it, the boost panels in the city will be in random positions, similar to the ramps on Excitebike Arena. Really, the only complaint I have with this version of the course is that I actually liked in Wii when the toll booth used the same sound as on DK Summit, but they decided to do something different here. Now, with all the praise that I've just given Moonview Highway, you may think that it's my favorite course of the Feather Cup. But if you were to think that, you would actually be wrong, as despite how great Moonview Highway is now, a sentence that I never thought I would say, the next course is just a little bit better. Right off the bat, I just want to say that as much as I love this course, it has, in my opinion, the dumbest name of any Mario Kart course. So, instead of Squeaky Clean Sprint, I will be referring to this course as the name that I gave it the day it was revealed, Bathroom Blitz. With that out of the way though, wow, this course is amazing. I thought all the people in the comments on my prediction videos were insane for wanting a bathroom-themed track, but now that we have it, I can definitely see why. If you were to go back in time to May when my first prediction video came out and tell me, hey, when Wave 5 comes out, your second favorite course is going to be the bathroom track that came out of nowhere, I would think you're insane, but here we are now. Probably my favorite part of this entire course is the various split paths at the end. Yes, everybody knows about the top path that gets unlocked via the toilet geyser once you start lap 2, but that path alone leads to 2 other paths, one going to the side of the sink and another going up to the windowsill, both of which will grant you a double item box. This is also probably one of the most detailed courses in the game, right up there with the other giant room course, Ribbon Road, as almost every little item that you see in the background has some sort of significance to it. Heck, the ring in the drain is the exact same ring from the Sand Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. I would go so far as to say that Bathroom Blitz is one of the most creative courses in the entire series. Nintendo really stepped up their game with the new courses these past 2 waves, because the first 3 that we got were just okay. One final note for Bathroom Blitz. As is to be expected from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the music on this course is amazing. They didn't go for something high energy with this course, they gave us just a relatively chill theme, which, personally, I love every second of. Ultimately, I am very pleased with how the Feather Cup turned out. If I cared just a little bit more about Daisy Cruiser, it would probably be able to take the title of my favorite cup in the game from the Star Cup, but I guess for now, all we can really do is hope that the Cherry Cup can keep up this great momentum. The Cherry Cup starts off with Los Angeles Laps, a pretty good city course actually. When the wave first released, I didn't think too much of it, but it's been a little while, and after playing it some more, I actually think this course is pretty good. Right off the bat, I just want to call this course's name a lie, as it's called Los Angeles Laps, but the entire course is sectioned, so there aren't any laps. However, I think being sectioned works very well for this course, as each section gets to completely stand out compared to the others. The first section takes us across the pier, the second section admittedly is a bit lackluster as it's just pretty standard roads like the earlier city tracks we've got in the Booster Course Pass, and the third section takes us through the oil fields. The only part of the second section that I would say really invokes any sort of emotion in me is when you fly through the stadium and on a billboard in the background you can see Mario and Bowser's renders from Mario Super Sluggers, which just reminds me of probably the best Mario sports game we've ever gotten, and that we probably won't get any other games like that again. I think my favorite part about this course though is the third section, as not only is it visually distinct from the other two so it stands out better, but there are a lot of different paths and shortcuts that you can take here, making for great comeback potential. I also like the optional glider ramp in the middle of the oil fields, as similar to the underwater path in Daisy Cruiser, it's both faster and grants you more items. And especially considering you don't even need a mushroom to get to it in 150cc, there's no reason to not take it. I think the biggest hurdle this course had though is the music, because in my opinion the original tour version of this course's music is the worst music in the entire franchise. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though, yeah, it's pretty good actually. At first I thought it was just okay, but like the course itself, it's grown on me over time. I still think it would have made more sense to have this course in Wave 4, but I'm happy with what we got here. Oh, Sunset Wilds. What is there to say that hasn't already been said by every single other person who's making a review of this wave? They got rid of the sunset. You know what though? I'm gonna be different. Every other review I've seen of this wave has been incredibly negative towards this course, and, well, yes, they did remove its defining gimmick from the previous appearances. I think the course itself is still fun, which, at the end of the day, that's the real goal here, isn't it? The music here is great as well. I thought the tour remix of this theme was already pretty good, but of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has to come and give it another step up in that department. But let's actually talk about the sunset now. Nintendo, you were able to make the sunset work just fine in the mobile version of this course, but when it comes out to the home consoles, you can't make it work? I mean, even modders were able to make it work within the first 2 hours of the update, even if it was just a little bit scuffed. With all the resources you have at your disposal, there's no way that it's just impossible to be done. My main hope is that Similar to the Coconut Mall cars after Wave 1 released, Nintendo sees how the community responded to Sunset Wilds losing its sunset, and when Wave 6 drops, they also update this course so the sunset actually, well, sets. If they don't, I really think that if they wanted to give us a GBA desert track, they should have just given us Yoshi Desert, because that course got a great remake and tour. I think even when trying to be positive about it though, Sunset Wilds is definitely the weakest course of Wave 5. But hey, at least it gets to be followed up by the best course of Wave 5. From the worst course of the wave, now to the best. Koopa Cape has finally made it into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And unlike the other Wii track we got this wave, this is one that I actually enjoyed even back then. So let's see how Nintendo treated it here. Now I know this is a bit of a hot take, but I actually very much enjoyed Mario Kart 7's remake of Koopa Cape. I only really had a few small issues with it, and wouldn't you know it, but Mario Kart 8 fixed all of them. The underwater section that felt a bit empty, now it's anti-gravity and there's a half-pipe. The glider section over the river that didn't need to be there, it's gone. And best of all, the river section of the music is back. And yes, Koopa Cape's river variant is the other thing tied with Moonview Highway's city section for my favorite piece of music in the wave. And you know what? I don't even care if this is a hot take. This is easily my favorite version of Koopa Cape. And that's saying something, because the original was already in my top 3 courses back in Wii. The only kind of complaint I have with this version of the course is that, yeah, it could look a bit better visually, especially with the mountains in the background, but I've never really been the kind of guy to complain about graphics before, so it doesn't bother me all that much. I'm a little bit sad that it took until Wave 5 for Koopa Cape to show up, but hey, getting it later is better than not getting it at all. Now I just want to take a second here and talk about the music on this course, because Nintendo gave us 3 variants of the song, and they're all great. The normal variant is actually very similar to how the theme was before Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I'm not going to complain, it was already great, no need to change it that much. The river variant, again, thank God it's back, they went all out on it, and it is tied with Moonview's city section for my favorite music of the wave. And the underwater section is just sublime. I think not only gameplay-wise, but musically, Koopa Cape is easily the best course of Wave 5. I could keep going on about Koopa Cape for a little while longer, but I think it's time that we get to the final course of the wave. The final course of not only the Cherry Cup, but Wave 5 as a whole is Vancouver Velocity, which was probably the most hyped up city track besides Singapore Speedway. But can this one live up to the hype? You know, I don't really think it does actually. The first lap is great, but the other 2 are just really lackluster in my opinion. This course has actually had the complete opposite change as Los Angeles laps, as I originally thought Los Angeles was just an okay course, and then I started liking it more over time. Meanwhile, Vancouver, I really liked it when it came out, but now it's just okay. That's not to say that there aren't good parts about it, because yeah, the first lap is an absolute banger, easily the highlight of the course. But the other 2 parts, they fall flat in my opinion. The second lap, for whatever reason, Wave 5 just loves removing cannons from courses. They removed one from Athens Dash as well. And the third lap is, in my opinion, the worst part of the course. I think they should have at least swapped around the first and third laps to make it a little bit interesting. The music as well. I'm not really sure what it is, but something about this version of the theme just feels off. I will say though, it is nice to finally get anti-gravity used in a city track. It only took 12 of them, but hey, better late than never. I do still think Vancouver Velocity is a good course, it just was really overhyped in my opinion, and it doesn't fit that well as an ending to the wave compared to 3DS Rainbow Road or Singapore Speedway. But you know what? At least it's not the worst ending course a wave got, because we all know what that was. Overall, I think the Cherry Cup was just fine. Koopa Cape is the real standout winner here, but I don't actively hate any of these courses, which is more than I can say for some of the earlier waves. But of course, the new courses aren't everything. We got not 1, not 2, but 3 new characters this wave. Kind of weird they're leaving the final wave to only have 2 characters, but whatever. Petey Piranha, great to have you back. Love that your head is still way oversized. I don't think anybody was expecting Wiggler to make it back, except for me, who actually had him in the very first draft of my prediction video, but he's a pleasant surprise regardless. And of course, the wave has to release on Wiggler Wednesday. And Kamek, it is about time. Dude was screwed over 26 years ago, and then almost made it into the Wii U version of the game, but he's finally here now, and Nintendo gave him, hands down, the best horn in the game. But of course, no review of the wave would be complete without ranking every course at the end. In last place with a score of 6 out of 10 is Sunset Wilds. But if Nintendo would just fix the sunset, I could easily see this course moving up to a 7 out of 10. Next up, with a 7 out of 10, is going to be Daisy Cruiser. Again, there's nothing that I dislike about this track, but it just doesn't stand out either. Also at a 7 out of 10 is going to be Vancouver Velocity. Nice track, but didn't really live up to the hype, and doesn't feel fitting as a finale to the wave. And for our final 7 out of 10, we have Los Angeles Laps. This course actually surprised me. I was not really expecting to like it this much. Moving on to the 8 out of 10s, our first one is going to be Athens Dash. Again, this is probably the most unique city track, and it was already a fan favorite before it came to Mario Kart 8, so there's no surprise that it's up this high. Our next 8 out of 10, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's Moonview Highway. This course not only surprised me by just being in the Booster Course Pass, but then surprised me again by actually being good. Moving up to our only 9 out of 10 this wave, it's gonna be Bathroom Blitz. Again, probably the most creative track in the entire series, and I am very glad that it's here. And last but not least, our only 10 out of 10 of the wave goes to Koopa Cape. I think I made it pretty clear earlier why this was my favorite course of the wave, but it was my most anticipated course of the Booster Course Pass, and it definitely lived up to expectations. And those are my thoughts on Wave 5 of the Booster Course Pass. A couple of low points, but overall some pretty high highs. I don't think it was better than Wave 4, but to be fair, I think half of Wave 4's courses were at least a 9 out of 10. Let's just hope that Wave 6 can end the Booster Course Pass off with a bang. If you guys enjoyed this ranking, let me know down below, and maybe even tell me your thoughts on the courses. In the future, maybe I'll even go back and rank the previous waves. But that's all for me for today. I will see you guys next time.